And there they go.
Welcome back to RacingNews.com. I'm Magic, and Kentucky Derby Future Wager Pool 4 starts this Friday, runs through Sunday, so you know I'm going to be joined by the Somobomb, Mike Somich, to talk about both the odds available here in the Kentucky Derby Future Wager and other places you can look if you want some better value on some horses. Mike, new names for this pool. We've got Charge It for Todd Pletcher, Cyberknife, Ethereal Road, Morello, Pioneer of Medina, Shipstational, Unoho, and Zozos. None of them close to the morning line favorite. That is Forbidden Kingdom at 5-1. But let me pull up the odds here for this as you want to go ahead and talk about what you think from this field.
I mean, this is obviously the third time that we've covered this pool since it is the third pool. And each time we've consistently said, don't bet the favorite, right? And this is another spot where I'm going to say, don't bet the favorite. Like, you'll probably get 5-1 on Forbidden Kingdom on the first Saturday in May if he's in the gate. So you get a lot more information then. You can see where he drew, who else is in the field, if he actually is in the starting gate. So I would hold off on anything like sub 10-1 still, which kind of knocks Epicenter out of here. Smile Happy sitting at 6-1. All other 3-year-olds sitting at 6-1 now looks like it's, it doesn't include that many horses, right? Because we're assuming we're not getting the Bafferts at this point because we're getting pretty late in the deal here. So the all other horses, I mean, you get the filly from Secret Oath from Dwayne Lucas, you get a couple others, but for the most part, I'd say that the meat's on the bone here. This is who we're considered the bigger contenders here in the Derby.
The one that stuck out to me the most is because I know who you love for the Kentucky Derby right now, and that's down at number 21, White Abarrio, 15-1 on the morning line. Not the 171-1 that he closed Pool 2 at, but much better than he was for Pool 3. So is this kind of the sweeter spot? Is this where White Abarrio is probably going to sit?
Man, I don't know if I take him at 15-1. It's interesting because we're still what, almost 2 months out here from the Derby. So we've got 8 more weeks. A lot can happen in 8 weeks. And you have the Florida Derby coming up, and that's really going to define whether or not he goes off at 25-1 or 5-1 in the Derby. If he wins the Florida Derby, you may have the post-time favorite at 3-1 or 4-1, and you're getting 15-1 right now. But if he loses that race, he's probably 25-1 or so. So it all depends on how you feel about that Florida Derby field and how it's shaping up. Then obviously, this is a pari-mutuel pool. You're not locked in. So it's all about what those prices are later in it. Because like you mentioned, 171-1 in the first pool. I think he was 50-1 morning line. So it obviously floated up from that 50-1 number up to that 171. And we're going to talk about a couple other places which do have fixed odds. So if you do want to try and get involved there, we can look at the price on someone like White Abarrio and what those odds are in other places.
All right, Mike, so we're transitioning here. These are the odds for Circus Sportsbook in Las Vegas, and we're talking about White Abarrio 15-1, and that's pari-mutuel, so it's going to fluctuate over the weekend. White Abarrio, you can lock in at 35-1 on this list here. So already, Mike, we're seeing some of the differences between the Derby pool and this one.
Yeah, and you also have Baffert horses in here, so you can see Messier, you can see Carniche, Newgrange, all listed on that first page there, first list of horses. So they're taking some of the juice away, which is obviously beneficial. You also have Secret Oath here, who pops up for the first time, sitting there at 28-1. I mean, I'm a little interested. If you tell me she's running the Arkansas Derby, I'll take 28-1 on her winning the Kentucky Derby right now. The key is whether or not she's running in that Arkansas Derby. This is an example of the line put up by Circa. A lot of the American sports books have this up. So if you're interstate, which allows wagering through a sports book, check out your Kentucky Derby odds, compare that to what you would get in that Kentucky Future Wager Pool number 3. I think that's a great way to kind of shop around a little bit. And you'll notice some slight changes here. I think it's interesting. You have Charge It all the way up at 15-1 now. On this list right here, you got Modonagall sitting there at 24-1. So there's some interesting horses at some decent numbers out of the Pletcher barn after we had that crash and burn performance from Emmanuel this last weekend.
And Charge It will be report right now as he's going straight to the Florida Derby off that main special weight win. And by the way, if you want some more information on Todd Pletcher's stable and what the heck is going on right now, head over to the Racing Dudes YouTube channel. Mike Somich and we've got a video talking about exactly that. So make sure you check that out. Speaking of Charge It, 15-1 in the fixed odds, 30-1 on the morning line for the actual Derby pool. So my question for you, which of those numbers do you think is more realistic? Is Charge It at 15-1? Is that too short in Vegas and they're not correcting yet? Or is 30-1 going to plummet?
Well, let me yes, and I wouldn't bet it. I don't want 15-1 on Charge It. I think he should be 35-1, 40-1, somewhere in that range is a fair price. I think the 30-1 morning line is more accurate, but not correct at what he will go off at. That horse is sub 20-1, I bet, by the end of that pool. And I think is going to end up around this Vegas number that you're currently looking at. And to me, that's too short on a horse. It's just not proven. And, we talked about it in that video around the Pletcher barn. A lot of hype, not much delivery at this point. We're still waiting for that delivery. And Charge It was not supposed to be the hyped horse. Like, we heard about other horses in that Pletcher barn before him that haven't looked so great. So now you kind of start to wonder, how good is that Todd Pletcher barn?
15-1 for Classic Causeway in the normal Derby pool, 14-1 here at Circa with the fixed odds. This is a horse that is going to be supposedly going to the Tampa Bay Derby. We haven't drawn the fields yet, but will be the favorite and will likely win that race. You're not getting 15-1 or 14-1. To me, Mike, if you like Classic Causeway, this is an instance you very much go to a fixed odds market rather than the parimutuel.
100%. I mean, because that race is being run during the parimutuel pool, if he wins, you're going to get it crushed. If he loses, we'll see. I mean, I don't even know if it floats up that much, depending on how he loses that race, because he's going to be in the Derby. He has the talent. He's run against good horses. He's definitely a player in there. We talked about him at 50-1 a couple weeks ago in the fixed odds market. Now you're staring down 15. I will say this. If you like him, I would rather bet him in a fixed odds to win the Derby than I would to get him at even money in that Tampa Bay Derby on Saturday. I think there's more value playing him in the fixed odds long-term play here than there is just playing him straight up, because you're going to get, even money 6-5 on Saturday if you do like him.
Now, Mike, we do have an international audience as well. They can't bet in the sports books legally in America, but they might be able to bet overseas. So we like to cater to them as well. Let's look at an overseas book here. What stands out to you from this odd? A lot of the odds to me are very close to the fixed odds in America. So if you like something there, you might like it here too.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just interesting because you can shop around a little more. We got Secret Oath here showing up at 33-1 versus the 28-1 that we saw last time. You got horses like Modonegal, like Newgrange. If you like them, you can shop and get a little better price at one or the other. And I think that's important. I also think, look, if you are looking at betting this future pool, it's important to look at sites like this, to look at these numbers, to get a better idea of what, this is how Vegas sportsbooks, they build their casinos on taking bets like these, because these are high juice bets for them. They get a lot of vig back on these. So if you see a number that's over these numbers, I would say that's a decent number in the Kentucky Derby pool. However, you're going to see most of them shorter than these numbers, and it kind of shows that you should be playing those future wagers in fixed odds markets at other places if you have the ability to do so.
If I was going to ask you from this specific one that we're looking at here, is there anyone that sticks out to you as I got to jump on that horse?
Man, again, if you like White Abarrio in the Florida Derby, 25-1, you're not getting that afterward. I know some people who like Rattle and Roll. I'm not nearly as high, but if you like Secret Oath, the 33-1 here is the best number that we've looked at. So I think that's a relevant one to take a peek at. Outside of that, man, I don't see that much that's really pulling me in. I'm not interested. Look, if you were going to bet for Forbidden Kingdom at 5-1, here you go, 10-1. Right away, immediate value from looking at this. Smile Happy, no interest at 10-1. Didn't have interest at 8-1. No thanks. Epicenter, I know you're higher than I am. You're probably not getting 12-1 on Derby Day.
Nope.
So if you want to bet them on Derby Day and you're willing to take a little risk for the money sitting around for 2 months, you obviously lose the opportunity cost of betting that on something else. And there's a possibility he's not in the gate. But 12-1 is better than what you're getting on race day if he is.
Especially he's headed to the Louisiana Derby, just won the Risen Star Stakes at Fairgrounds for Steve Asmussen, Joel Rosario riding Winchell Thoroughbred's own. Lots of connection play there that also the 12-1 you're not going to get, even if he doesn't win the Louisiana Derby and goes to Kentucky. So you kind of stole my thunder. That's where I was going to go with that. He was 8-1 in the parimutuel pool. He's 10-1 for the Circa fixed odds. He's 12-1 here. So for me, Epicenter, this is the spot I would play, if I can do so legally and responsibly, of course.
Of course.
But if you want more information about the Kentucky Derby, just head over to racingdudes.com. We have full coverage of that and the Kentucky Oaks Trail. We also have plenty of video content coming out on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/racingdudes. Again, check out Mike and I's video talking about Todd Pletcher's stable. 2 weeks ago, we could have had 3-4 Toddsters in the Derby and gone, yeah, they've got a shot. Now we'll see what Mike thinks. Head over to racingdudes.com. Check that out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.
This has been a presentation of racingdudes.com, your destination for all things horse racing and sports betting. Whether you want free winners, expert insider picks, up-to-the-minute trackside weather reports, or podcasts and videos for bettors of all skill levels. Never make another wager without visiting the Racing Dudes. First,